From WREL News and the Capital Broadcasting Podcast Network, this is your Coronavirus, North Carolina News Brief for Friday, May 8th, 2020. I'm Cliff Baumgardner. Here's the latest from WREL.com. Phase 1 of a three-step plan to reopen North Carolina goes into effect at 5 p.m. today. Among the biggest changes are the reopening of non-essential retail stores and state parks and trails. Stores must be kept at 50% of capacity and enforce social distancing, per Governor Cooper's order. Under the order, movie theaters, sports and performance venues, bowling alleys, salons, spas, and gyms must remain closed. Churches can't reopen until Phase 2, but worshipers can gather outside as long as they wear masks and stay 6 feet apart from others. The list of businesses allowed to reopen in Phase 1 includes restaurants, provided they stick to takeout, delivery, or drive-thru only, essential stores like banks, pharmacies, grocery stores, childcare centers, day camps, and hardware stores, and smaller non-essential retail businesses like clothing stores, craft stores, gift shops, and bookstores. The types of businesses still closed during this period include salons, spas, tattoo parlors, gyms, pools, entertainment venues like movie theaters, bowling alleys, and performance or sports arenas, and indoor dining rooms. Today, Wake County school leaders said they're canceling large-scale in-person graduation ceremonies this spring, but they're looking for other ways to celebrate graduating seniors. Board of Education Chairman Keith Sutton had said for weeks he was hoping to find some way to preserve the graduation experience, but now he says it's just not safe at this point. Sutton says school leaders are hoping to do something this June for their seniors, but says schools may find different ways to customize a graduation experience for their students with district-level guidelines. The coronavirus relief bills signed into state law this week allow schools to start the 2020 through 2021 school year on August 17th, a week earlier than usual. Wake County Public School Superintendent Kathy Moore said Wake schools will start on that date, but she said it's still uncertain what that will look like. She said students should expect social distancing, which could mean a limit on the number of students in a classroom or in a school at any given time. Moore said online learning may play a greater role next year. The recently passed laws require schools to plan for at least 5 days of online learning in the coming school year, but doesn't specify where they should fall in the school calendar. Moore acknowledged the disappointment the pandemic closures have brought to many students, including athletes whose winter championships and spring seasons were canceled. Moore said it's unclear at this point how the pandemic will affect athletics next school year, but called it an integral part of the school experience. This morning, a spokeswoman for the North Carolina Division of Employment Security said the state unemployment office plans to add another 1,000 call center agents to deal with high volume caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. That will bring the total number of people processing claims at DES to 2,600. Roughly 2,000 of those people will be answering calls. The timeline for adding these workers wasn't immediately clear. New jobless claims skyrocketed in North Carolina in mid-March, as soon as the first of several business shutdown orders got the governor's signature due to COVID-19. As of this morning, DES said 1,085,276 claims had been filed since March 15th. Nearly all of those were filed online, with fewer than 19,000 taken over the phone. But people often have issues with online filing and need to reach someone for help. And often the call volume is so high people get an automatic disconnect. Others reported multi-hour hold times. The state has tried to respond, adding a private call center to its 2 regular centers. It's the private center that's now set to expand. The division has also added a chat function, launched earlier this week, to its website. Banks may or may not reopen their branches during the first phase of the state's 3-part plan to resume business and school activities during the pandemic. That's according to Peter Gwaltney, president of the North Carolina Bankers Association. In a statement, Gwaltney said, quote, "North Carolina banks are eager to see and visit with their customers again. However, not all banks will have the same procedures and policies for reopening lobbies, so we encourage customers to check with their bank for information and instructions on access during Phase 1. Many banks have limited services in recent weeks to drive-thrus, online and mobile banking, and by appointment for customers who need specific services that can't be provided in another way." This has been your Coronavirus North Carolina News Brief for Friday, May 8th, 2020. As always, if you like the news and information you get from this show, let us know. Leave a rating and review wherever it is you listen. While you're there, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our new episodes. Thanks for listening.